So we've looked at the first type of interfaces, main WatchKit apps, but there's two other types of interfaces. There's the glance view and dynamic notifications. The next one I'm going to look at is glances. According to Apple's developer website, glances are basically a way to display quick little pieces of information to your user about, well, things that are timely to them from your app. So, for example, if you're an airline app, it might show the gate and the time of a flight. And because of that, the only thing a glance does is display information to users. It means there's no interactivity and you can't scroll. You just have this simple one screen. So now that so when I select the glance interface controller, and in the attribute inspector you can see there's an upper and a lower. Now, of course, this is the upper and this is the lower groups. Glances are kind of based on a template that all your content has to be in either one of these groups. This top group being kind of like the heading of your content, and this bottom group kind of being the body of it. So, and as you can see, there's a bunch of little templates which I'm sure Apple would prefer that you use when you're developing your glance, about how they'd like it set out. So I'm just going to pick these two. You can see there's a whole heap of them, and you basically just pick whatever's best for your content. So that's how you do the layout of your glance view. You can include images and graphics in this. It just has to be simple, clear, and concise. Basically exactly what it says in the programming guide and the new interface guide on the Apple website. So the next thing you need to do is link it to code. So you're only going to use two of these default functions. The did activate you're probably not going to use because, well, you're not accepting any inputs, so nothing's really going to change. You're not going to have any values that you need to save. But you will be using the int and the will activate. So using the int, you can load content into your labels and images for the glances shown, so that when the user comes onto your glance, it's already loaded for them. The will activate can be used to update that information if it's changed between the interface being initialized and it being displayed. Of course, all the same things apply to link and output. You just drag this over. And of course, the only thing you can link is outlets because there's no buttons and no actions. So the final thing you want to do is probably run your glance. For that, you need to create a new schema. So up here, you want to go Watch App. You want to select the schema for your Watch App. Click that, and then go Edit Schema, duplicate, and call it something relevant. So probably glance. Once you create that, you need to stay in the Edit menu, select Run, and then glance, watchapp.app as the executable in the Run menu. Close that, and now you can just run it like a normal app. You just press Run and the simulator will open. So there's our glance. Of course, this is just one of the template ones, and you're probably going to make one a lot nicer than this. So the final thing to note about glance is that the only interactivity a user can have with them is clicking on them. More precisely, clicking on them, which takes you into your Watch app. So by default, when it's clicked, the first thing that opens is the main view control of your Watch app. It doesn't actually open your WatchKit app in the simulator yet because the tools aren't finished. But when it does, it will open to the main interface of your app. On the Apple website, there's an instruction to go to a particular interface when a glance is open, when a glance is pressed, and load content relative to what's in that glance. But I'm not going to go through this now since that doesn't work in the simulator. And it's pretty easy to follow on the Apple developer website.